I just saw it on TikTok. I'm not knowledgeable about it. I just know a little bit about it. I just saw it on TikTok of a young lady, right, named 𝗥𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝘀𝘀𝗶cie in Nigeria. Now she's a Nollywood movie. She's a Nollywood movie star out there. She entered into a podcast. She divorced her husband, and the reasons that she divorced her husband, there was no reason for her to divorce her husband, but she divorced him anyway. And then she got on this podcast and bad mouthed that guy. She didn't have to. She bad mouthed him. I mean, she bad mouthed him. She could have just let it go. She was there to promote her up and coming movie, but she decided to turn. They asked her why. They asked her a question: why did she divorce her husband? And instead of keeping it cordial, right, keeping it PC, she went off on a tangent. And you know what happened to that young lady? You know what happened to that young lady? They bulldozed her house. Now, of course, we can't do that in America. We can't bulldoze your house for making misandry comments, right? For bad mouthing your ex-husband that you had no reason to divorce based on scriptural guidelines. Let's just go scriptural, right? Based on the scripture, there was no grounds for divorce. But let me tell you what happened. Let me attempt to tell you what happened. I don't know anything about the story. But a lot of times, you know, when women get careers, they put their careers above their family. Now, I told you she's a Nollywood star, 𝗥𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝘀𝘀𝗶cie. She was making money. She built her own. She built her dream house. She built her house from scratch. She built her house and her mom's house. She built her mom's house in another province and built her house in this province. I think it's the northern province of Nigeria. I think they do things differently in the northern province in Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken. So she built her house there in the northern province in Nigeria. And they didn't like how she got on that podcast and bad mouthed her husband like that. They didn't like it. And they evicted her. And they evicted her by bulldozing her house. And she could do nothing about it. She was crying. She said everything she hard earned worked for was put into that house. Imagine everything you work for, ladies, men, and you say one thing on the internet and it's all get taken away. Now we're used to that kind of sort of here in the West, right? We're used to that kind of sort of here, right? You say some things on the internet, you know, especially that's not feminist friendly, and they can somewhat try to go after you and cancel you. We saw a young man on the Pop the Balloon. I know y'all know the young man Aaron, right? He went on the Pop the Balloon and he started telling women what time it is. They called him sassy, right? But he said, hey, I'm just standing on what I stand on. You know what they did? They went after that brother and tried to fire him. Now, I don't know.
No, they did fire. They did get him fired. He was like a plumber or something. They got him fired and he had to start a GoFundMe account.
Yeah, now I heard that it was a hoax. Like he didn't really get fired, or maybe after the publicity, the job didn't all the way fire him. So I don't know if that's true. I got to do some more research in that, but that's neither here or there. The point is, there was phone calls being made, over 500 to a man's job, and he did nothing wrong but go home with the baddest one in the room, who happened to be a gold digger later on, and he had to get rid of her, right? But it amazes me how a lot of these females, they get up on here and they talk about God and Jesus. Are you a man of God? You know, but when it comes down to it, it's really they just want money. They want you to be a man of God because they don't want you to harm them, right? Because they know a man of God's not going to put his hands on a woman. But at the end of the day, she's a snake and she's looking for a payday. So a man of God, she's assuming, oh, a man of God, he's not gonna trip if I, you know, I'm gonna pretend this way and then I'm gonna show him the true me and he can't do anything. And she's hoping that she extracted money out of him before he figured out that, hey, she's a snake. So you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful out there, man. So before I drag it on too long, let's get into the topic.